A magnificent trademark returns to Idaho's Nez Perce tribe.
We're proud of being known for Appaloosa.
A new generation is born of powerful Nez Perce horses and strong young riders.
I think more kids will have more pride and more reason in their lives.
My horse was running!
Today on Exploring Idaho, a horse breeding program reunites a people with their past. A new breed of horse brings back pride to Idaho's Nez Perce tribe. A famous Idaho attraction pushes toward an all-time high, and an Idaho artist captures history and his audience with a unique brand of art.
Hello and welcome to Exploring Idaho. I'm Dee Sarton. The Appaloosa horses and the Nez Perce Indian tribe, they have a history that dates back hundreds of years here in Idaho. The Nez Perce were revered by other Northwest tribes for their superior, powerful horses. As a matter of fact, the Appaloosa was practically a Nez Perce trademark. But sadly, the Nez Perce War of the late 1800s and white settlement of the West effectively dismounted the tribe. Only now, more than 100 years later, are the Nez Perce people stepping back in the saddle.
Big filly. She's got a real pretty head, real nice neck to her, and good slope to her shoulders, and holy smokes, what a blanket.
At less than 24 hours old, these first wobbling steps represent a giant leap for the Nez Perce tribe.
She has got awesome conformation, even at a day old, it's apparent.
This newborn foal is the first of a brand new breed. Called a Nez Perce horse, she looks like an Appaloosa. But Nez Perce breeder Rudy Shabala says underneath her spotted coat lie distinctly different bloodlines.
We've actually kind of, in a way, gone back to the roots of the horses we used to have.
Appaloosas were once the chosen breed of the Nez Perce. Their mounts were noted by Lewis and Clark and envied by other tribes. But the Nez Perce War of 1877 drastically changed that. White settlers took and sold the horses, and the tribe was dismounted. So after 100 years of absence, this young foal represents a new beginning and a welcome return.
The Appaloosa is known for its hardiness, its endurance, and its speed.
He knows something's going to happen.
The new breed of Nez Perce horse crosses those Appaloosa traits with these high-spirited Akultiki stallions. The big, powerful stallions were imported by the tribe from Russia.
They are one of the ancestors of the Spanish horses that were first imported to America, about, 400, 500 years ago.
The theory is by breeding modern Appaloosas back with an original ancestor, it will renew strength and speed and return Nez Perce horses to their early days of glory.
I think it's wonderful. I'm more into the more spirited animals anyway.
Rhonda Broncho Walton owns one of the tribe's several Akultiki stallions. She sees the breeding program as beneficial to every Nez Perce on the reservation.
I think that more people will have horses in their backyards, and I think more kids will have more pride and more reason in their lives, and I think the horse is a way to keep the kids off the streets and into a more healthy type of a lifestyle. I honestly believe that.
That belief is widespread on the reservation. After years without purpose, there's new hope that the Nez Perce will again find their identity in something as simple yet meaningful as a horse.
And then we're going to go through the problem, and we're going to work as a group to solve it, okay?
At Lapwai Elementary, the horses have worked their way into the ranks of education.
Joseph, why don't you go ahead and read our logic matrix problem, okay?
Here, it's called the Mounted Scholars Project. Everything from English lessons to math problems relate to the horses and the heritage.
It's a new way of looking at educating, and it's making relevant curriculum. It's meaningful to the student, and therefore they're more interested and more apt to work at it.
This is the first year of the program, and educator Melanie Hamilton says she can already see a difference.
All of their academic skills have improved since the start of the year. Okay, how am I going to figure this out? How far have I gone? I have a horse that walks 7 miles an hour, and we're on a trail ride for 3 hours. 21. How'd you figure that out? You multiplied. Good.
Even the children admit this kind of schoolwork can be fun.
We know the horses and we know how they act, and it'd be easier when they're in there.
And the classwork is only half the story. Hands-on education happens here, where those same students trade their pencils for bridles and saddle up for a lesson in what their ancestors once took for granted.
Back up.
We want 2 horse lengths between each horse, okay? We're gonna go through some maneuvers.
I think it's building self-esteem with a lot of them. I can see that they've improved quite a bit. We've had students at the start of the year that wouldn't talk much to kids that are really talking out and feel more comfortable with themselves.
Okay, at the count of 3, we're gonna do a reverse. Towards the inside and then back. The count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Reverse and go the other way.
It's like they don't even realize that they're really learning at the same time. It's really neat. It's neat to watch the whole process happen and see how much they see their growth from the start of the year until up till now, and it's just going to continue.
The joys of splashing through a creek and cantering on the range carry meaningful and lasting effects. With this simple understanding of where they came from, these Nez Perce kids will have the confidence to move ahead into the complex world of tomorrow.
Man, Bobby, your horse is kicking up dirt left and right.
In the same way, as each Nez Perce foal grows spirited and strong, the entire tribe grows closer to its roots.
I guess I feel like we're on the right track.
And soon, an entire people once lost without horses will reclaim a special identity. The Nez Perce breeding program offers stud services with its Akaltiki stallions, and later on in the show, we'll tell you how to get in contact with them. And take a look at this. The Idaho State Historical Museum keeps this Nez Perce saddle on display. It's really quite beautiful. It's a cottonwood frame covered with buckskin and ornate beadwork. It doesn't look terribly comfortable, but it must have done the trick because this saddle was made in the 1870s and used until 1982. Exploring Idaho, we'll be right back.
A popular Idaho attraction booms to a new high. Scenic Shoshone Falls at its best, next on Exploring Idaho.
Water is booming down the Boise River this spring. A snowpack about 200% of normal is melting into big water on all Idaho rivers. Exploring Idaho's Jennifer Eisenhart reports from one major attraction on the Snake River that's building to an all-time high.
Dee, you've no doubt heard about the awesome power of Shoshone Falls. It is the tallest waterfall in North America, taller in fact than the famous Niagara Falls of New York. But this year, Shoshone Falls has even outdone itself.
The raw power of Shoshone Falls on the Snake River is a sight and sound to behold this spring. Its massive waters impress even locals who have visited the attraction for years.
I don't believe I've ever seen this much water.
Tremendous amount of water.
Awesome, that's all I can think of. Grandchildren say awesome for everything, and this is what they should see.
Awesome indeed, and not yet at its fullest. Still in the early part of spring, the 212-foot Niagara of the West is headed for an all-time record.
Last year was our largest water year, I think, in the last 13 years.
Right now we have as much, if not more than we had last year during peak runoff in June.
With a full month to go before it hits its peak, about 180,000 gallons spill over the edge every second. Now think about it, 180,000 gallons every second of every minute of every hour of every day. And it's only getting bigger.
Well, the force of the water always just scares me.
For visitor Marjorie Stroud, the falls is incredible and intimidating. Watching the water boil to a misty bottom, she can't help but wonder if anyone was ever so unfortunate as to pass over the edge.
I certainly wouldn't want to go over the falls, I'll tell you. No way.
But almost 70 years ago, an adventurous lumberjack by the name of Al Fawcett would. In July of 1929, Fawcett took the spill of a lifetime. His craft was a canvas-covered canoe. He braced it with ribs of spruce, then stuffed it with truck tire inner tubes. At 5 o'clock in the evening, Fawcett slid himself into his craft, zipped the canvas hatch, and was pushed into the current. Fawcett picked up speed, then plunged over the drop. A crowd of 5,000 spectators watched speechless as he fell. When his craft resurfaced in the mist at the bottom, out popped Fawcett with an ear-to-ear grin. His only injury was a broken hand. But others were not so fortunate. In 1882, a ferry was established about 200 yards upriver from the falls. Idaho author Court Conley writes that it takes little imagination to understand why business was never brisk. And history has it, on more than one occasion, the cable broke, sending passengers to a watery grave.
Feel that water almost vibrate you, and it's unreal the amount of force that's behind just a little bit of falling water.
Today, about the only person who comes close to the falling water is Idaho power worker Dennis Brayman.
Underneath here we have the water that's pouring over the top of us, and right now there's about a foot of water going over the top.
This old concrete spillway was completed in 1907. Back then, it produced enough electricity to power the entire city of Twin Falls. In 1921, a second power plant was added at the base of the falls that doubled the output. Today, the two combined create enough electricity to power only about a third of the growing city of Twin Falls. Idahoans have found other ways to harness this stretch of the Snake River. About 20 miles upriver from Shoshone Falls, Milner Dam puts the magic in Magic Valley.
They call it Magic Valley because it magically bloomed when they put water on it.
Completed in 1904, Milner Dam diverts millions of gallons of water into an extensive canal system. Every year, the water feeds 365,000 acres of thirsty farmland.
The Snake River certainly is the heart of the valley.
Magic Valley farmer and Idaho legislator Doug Jones says the water makes this would-be desert some of the most fertile agricultural ground in the country.
The soil was good, it's good climate, but the water was the magic. It made it come to life.
But there is a trade-off. In midsummer, Milner Dam becomes a turn valve for its downstream companion. And when irrigation is at its peak, scenic Shoshone Falls is reduced to a trickle. So if you want to see the falls at a record high, plan your visit between now and mid-June. It's a sight and sound you won't soon forget.
Spectacular.
This is wonderful.
It's the most beautiful it's ever been.
Yeah, very, very impressive.
Jen, it is spectacular this year.
Yeah, and really it's almost mesmerizing. There's so much water coming over the falls that just to stand there and watch it is incredible.
How much longer can people go down and enjoy Shoshone Falls?
Well, the water will continue to build until about mid-June, and then around that time farmers in the area will divert water to irrigate their crops. So you've got about until mid-June.
Okay, we'll mark it on the calendar. And Exploring Idaho, we'll be right back.
Coming up, an Idaho artist captures history and his audience with a unique brand of art.
So how many?
Something this big, to me, evolves.
Transportation has come a long way in the last 100 years, from the old horse and wagon to the newest space shuttle. An Idaho artist has taken it upon himself to chronicle the evolution of transportation. And at the same time, his work is paying tribute to the important men and women who have shaped those changes. Today, we go to the Twin Falls Airport to view the remarkable work of this Idaho artist and find out why his project may, strangely, never be finished.
Art in Progress describes well the detailed work of Gary Stone.
I may keep this going for years and years and years, and maybe we'll add just a brush stroke or two per year. But I think it would be a good idea, as long as I'm alive, to keep adding to it, and why not?
Stand back and you'll see why. This is a 70-foot wide, 20-foot tall wooden mural. In 18 colorful panels, the mural covers the entire Magic Valley and chronicles the history of Idaho transportation.
The airplanes all have an interesting story. We're planning on doing a little booklet that'll tell the story of the airplanes.
From Twin Falls' first airplane to Oregon Trail wagon trains to Native American teepees, the mural covers it all.
It's very unique in the way he's done it.
Modern airport travelers seem to enjoy the addition.
Lots of things. Fishing, farming, dairy, everything. He's covered about it all, just needs more cowboys.
But Gary Stone has enough work on his hands. You see, he plans not only to paint the entire Magic Valley and the history of transportation, but carefully carve them into wood, too.
The wooden part, and I carved that out with the sandblaster, which that's the texturing you see. And then I take real thick paint with a palette knife and build that up where the water and everything sort of is raised. And then I paint over the top of that so it gives it a real three-dimensional effect.
Now, if we could stop here and say Gary Stone's project is a painted and carved wooden mural showing the entire Magic Valley and the history of Idaho transportation, this whole project would seem reasonable.
I see these faces, and then there's smoke.
Faces and smoke? Yeah.
But these Twin Falls preschoolers have discovered a special secret.
One of the other things that I always do in my portraits is hide my wife's name in everything I paint and my self-portrait. So here's my little self-portrait, this handsome guy. It's either me or Tom Selleck. I'm not sure who that is, but that's who it is.
Intermixed with carvings of the Magic Valley and in between the paintings of early vehicles are hidden pictures.
So how many? 5. There's lots of bears and bears.
Large rocks hold snarling bears. The Snake River Canyon hides the brave faces of Native Americans. And if you know Braille, the colorful leaves of a Sun Valley aspen spell out the name of a blind Twin Falls attorney.
There's an H, an A, R-R-Y, right on through T-U-R-N-E-R. So yeah, I'm going to pay tribute to everyone that deserves it. Everyone I can think of.
Gary Stone has thought of quite a few.
There's a man going fishing right there, right there.
For kids, it's engaging.
It goes bong and hits you right in the face.
And even the artist has found his mural of the entire Magic Valley, the history of transportation, painted and carved, spiced up with hidden pictures and names spelled out in Braille, holds a certain fascination.
Every brushstroke's fun right now. It's really fun to make it come to life.
And just when you think he's added everything,
I'm trying to depict spring, summer, fall, and winter.
Gary Stone brushes in something new.
I guess it's sort of mixed up, but Everything is intentional, even the mixing up.
Intentional and incredible, because Gary Stone's magical artistry manages to bring the whole mix together.
And I'm going to paint a whole bunch more animals that live around here, all over in the mural, the whole length of it. The City of Rocks. Has any of you ever been to the City of Rocks? I wanted to depict Evel Knievel, so we put his little jump up here at the top.
And as long as he keeps dreaming up new things to do,
I go to sleep at night thinking about it, and I wake up in the morning thinking about it.
this sign may never come down.
And it'll keep changing and keep going till the day I die. That's when the job will be done.
Gary started that mural a year and a half ago, and like he says, it may be years before he's ready to call it finished. If you happen to be in Twin Falls, stop in and take a look. It's pretty easy to find. It covers an entire hallway in the Twin Falls Airport. And while we're on the topic of Idaho artists, here's today's Idaho Puzzler. Can you name the Idaho artist whose paintings helped convince Congress to establish the nation's first national park? We'll give you a hint. The park was Yellowstone. The answer when Exploring Idaho returns. Could you name the artist who helped establish Yellowstone National Park with his paintings? Thomas Moran's renditions of magnificent mountains and Yellowstone scenery helped convince Congress that the land should be forever protected. So in 1872, lawmakers voted to create the world's first national park, which set aside more than 2 million acres in Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. If you would like more information on any of the stories you've seen in our show today, call for a copy of the Exploring Idaho Field Notes. The field notes contain names, addresses, and phone numbers for you to contact. And when you order the field notes, be sure to ask for show number 145. Spring is in full bloom in Idaho, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So we want to leave you today with a colorful look at the fruit blossoms of the Treasure Valley. We'll see you again next time.